How's everybody doing today? This morning, it's get the dogs ready, the dogs' food ready for the upcoming week here. So here's what they get: carrots, turnip, sweet potato, and squash. This all gets cut up into this big pot here, boiled up, and bagged for the morning breakfast that the boys get. There, a little bit of dirt won't hurt them. I'm just cutting off the very ends of these things. So that they there. Carrots are the easiest thing. They're very clean. A little bit of dirt won't hurt them. Eat a peck of dirt before you die, my wife says. Over and over again. But these guys, now what? We're supposed to have the plumber today, the electrician, make sure our generator is going to last for the winter. Anyway, and the plumber to fix the inside of the shower hose there. The shower, it started leaking. My freaking fingers, these sharp knives, man. So that's just lost a carrot. Where the hell did it go? There it is. So, I've got to go and get the last of the potatoes. Yesterday I got 3 more buckets, and I got about 3 or 4 more buckets left. What I think I have to do is drag them down into the basement because I don't have any more buckets. And our potato bin in the garage is full. I've got a huge potato bin down in the basement. You know something? I don't think the peel on this thing will hurt the boys. Being that it's just freshly out of the garden. There. And we'll find out when we get rid of generally I like to cook or cut up the stuff that's drier first. It's like, then it doesn't get the cutting board all greasy. You know, it's like when you cut up onions, it's like cutting up jackfish or northern pike. Turns everything sloppy. Okay, let's get this done. Now we're on to the sweet potatoes. I suppose a guy could throw a can of pumpkin into this as well. Alright. This has got to be the best peeler on the market. They're hard to find. I'd like to buy a replacement. And what I'm cutting the peels into is goes into compost up in the garden. And then pretty soon it'll be winter. And we won't have access to get up there easily. You know, to be honest with you, I could probably wash the outside of this thing, cut it up into chunks, and the dogs won't. They never say, hey, we don't eat this because of the peel. Alright, that was done. Let's cut this guy up now. Watch those fingers, Bob. So yesterday, I had a hard time. I have, as some of you might know, only get about 2 or 3 hours sleep a night lately. Not last night. I took some pain relief, extra, earplugs, and I slept like a baby most of the night. Yesterday, I couldn't even freaking stay awake. I had a hard time all day yesterday. Right after the potatoes were done. Picked. But now I'm kind of sitting around here waiting for all these people to show up. And that means no more going up with the potatoes. I want to get the potatoes done so I can get into the woods and get that done. You hear the dogs barking. Lots of times that means somebody coming the driveway or somebody is driving by. Anyway, I also have meat to cut up. We get when I'm in the city, which will be soon, I have a store that we go to that sells a lot of organ meat. And I'll pick up kidneys, liver, heart, tongue, whatever I can get my hands on that's cheap. And we cut that up and give it to the dogs as well, into little tiny pieces that we mix in with these here vegetables. Now, we have 3 adult, or close to adult, Great Pyrenees. We got a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, almost. And they get this every day. Yesterday, I put a little bit of gravy on their kibble along with this, and they'll eat it right down to the bottom of the bowl. And because winter's coming and their coats are starting to fill out, and it's a lot cooler out at night, these guys are eating more. There we go. Alright. I don't know what this one's called, but this one here is a butternut. And lucky for me, I don't have to do this all the time. But I'm actually the only one that does it. Somehow this is Bob's job now. That's neat. These may come out from our garden. Not that one, but this one might. No, this one didn't either. We've got one of these up in the garden, I noticed. Last year we had squash up the yin-yang, meaning we had a lot of squash. And a lot of it went bad out in the garage there. But since then, whoa, that's slipping. There. Now I got a neat trick for cleaning these things. The inside. First, I'm going to cut that chunk off. And I put you out this way so that you might be able to see if something's in the field. But there's nothing there today. We did get to see the bear here the other day. I'm not sure what's in season right now. I think next month it'll probably be deer season. Our internet sucks. It's still not working right. Maybe I'll phone them and complain again. We can't use the phone in the evenings. Not until after midnight. And then who are we going to call after midnight? And the internet is like, right now it's not too bad. It's about 4 megabits per second. When we're paying for 10. Oh, dog wants in. Not happening. Okay, so now this guy. This guy's got all the seeds. So you take this and use the handle. You put it in back, up through. Put it in this way. I would think a spoon would work good. See? There. Done. And so far, all the squash cleans up nice like that. And I have a great big spoon when I used to do it for watermelon. So I cut the watermelon in half. I take this great big spoon, it's got a mouth on it about like that. And I just scrape out all the watermelon, put it into a big bowl like that. And we put it in, well, whatever kind of container we got. There. Just about done. So depending upon how things go today, I might be able to get to those potatoes and get that over and done with. It looks like I'm going to have to haul these other ones into storage into the basement. Because there's no more room in the garage. Now, I don't normally buy this kind, so my wife must have done it. Huh, came from Nova Scotia. How about that? And I would suspect, I don't know if you can see that or not, it says Vermeulen Farms, Canning, Nova Scotia. And this Vermeulen, it looks like it's, they're Dutch immigrants here. This one here is actually peeling pretty good. Some of them are too rigid, meaning that there's too many grooves cut into or growing into the side of these things. They're hard to clean the skin off of. Alrighty. I'll just grab the meat and get that cut up next. Put the water on. Waste not, what not. There we go. Get rid of this first. All right. There we go. Oh. Not worth friggin' with. This stuff here is like friggin' leather though. The dogs I don't think would want to eat that. I know I sure as wouldn't want to eat it. Ah, get off of there. Okay. And then there's there's a little pointy thing here that works pretty good for taking the eyes of the potatoes out. There we go. Good enough. Alright. Okay. Keep your fingers back. I kind of like the length of my fingers as is. So that's the last of these vegetables for this week. Then I'll go to the city maybe another couple of days from now. Don't really want to. The fourth wave or whatever the hell it is of this COVID is taken off. And the same amount of idiots are out there as there was before, except now they're gaining a foothold in the hospitals. Freaking hospitals. There's over 1,000 cases in New Brunswick, when the most that there ever was prior to this last outbreak was around 300 or so. And I'm not getting into it. I got my own beliefs. But if you're going to come here and you're not vaccinated, put on a mask. If you're not going to wear a mask, don't come. That's as simple as it gets. Eat somebody else's food. You and that porcelain researcher can enjoy being the only few that didn't get a vaccination together. There we go. Okay. So here's what we got. This big pot's full to the nuts. Be right back. Don't need this either. Oh. Ah, crap.
Call from 150.
Hang on. We got a call from him. Hello. Hi. Oh, can you call back? This is for Just a minute. So this is next. All of this down here is a bunch of different animal body parts. So, what we'll do is, I don't think it'll all fit back in there very good. I'll set that up. This is ground turkey. This is heart. And I'm not sure what the rest is. Alright. So that was the carpenter, or a handyman that we're going to have to hire to fix some stuff. Because the other guy, he's not very dependable. He built the woodshed, and that's the last we. If you want to talk to him for 2 hours on the phone and just basically have nothing much to say, he's your man. But we need stuff fixed around here, like the garage door going into the dog area. That needs to be fixed, replaced, whatever can be done to help keep that cold air from blowing into the garage in the wintertime. Because we get snow coming in there as well. And I would like to be able to get some heat going in there when I light up that fire, which I never light up because I can't get it warm enough in there. There, that's all the turkey. This might be liver here. And by cutting it up into these little bits, it falls down into the kibble, like you could mix it up a little bit better. And where did I put the phone? Oh, I must have put it back. The dogs tend to have a tendency to dig down deeper into the kibble and eat it up. And normally I don't, myself, I'd rather feed these big guys once a day, around supper time. But at the same time, just before we eat actually. Because what they do is they'll eat and then head on out to do their business, and that gives us a chance to eat. And then whatever little bits of tidbits that are left over from our supper, we'll put that on what they didn't eat on their own kibble, and then when they come in for their second wave of chow down, they pretty well clean up the kibble. And then what I like to do, but my wife doesn't seem to do it much, is we clean up. Once they clean out their bowls, I wash them up for the next day. And if I don't think that they had enough food for the day, I'll leave a little bit of dry kibble in the bottom of it, just so that they're not going to sit there thinking that we don't feed them. But they pretty well get to eat there's always something in their bowl. Always. It's extremely rare that we don't give them something. So what we're going to do first, I don't know why I cut this up like little pieces. They just swallow it whole anyway. And now the last piece. Then what I have to do is I have to bag it all. There's a nice piece of heart. And I believe this is cow's heart. But unless we can find it cheap, they're not going to get no fillet. And I tell you, that little fella, boy, he's got an appetite. He'll eat out of 3 bowls. He's been like that since he's a puppy. And when he comes up to you, a lot of times, he'll be smiling at you, or as you think if they smile, and a piece of kibble will fall out of his mouth. Gets caught up in this, under his lip. And then later, he'll come back, and all that kibble that fell out of his mouth, he'll just go around, pick it all up, and eat it. The kitchen floor, almost impossible to keep clean with him around. There we go. So here we go. We got a bowl of meat now. And all that juice that the meat was in, I'll separate it out into a couple of bowls outside. I might do that. Depends if I want to go clean up the bowls or not. And we'll give them the broth after it cools off. We used to give them the vegetable water as well too, but they don't, only one of them will actually eat it. And I don't like to get them too rich of food in their bellies, especially when we're going to bed at night, because the last thing we want is the freaking dogs having to go pee in the middle of the night like last night. Which probably attributes to me not getting any sleep. Because once they get outside, they don't want to come back in. So they're good and ready. Okay, so that's that, folks. So all that big chunks of food ended up into this chunk. Alright, so clean up. Your mess. Wash it all up. So that'd be that. hang on. There we go. We'll just clean this up. What's this? That's another bag of meat. And I gotta get some water going here first. I like to put hot water in with the vegetables when I heat them up because it saves time for it starting to boil. And I don't like to get it so full that I risk it boiling over. Because the last thing I want is a freaking mess on my hands. I will go and dump that. We'll wash up the dishes. We'll put all this stuff away, nice and neat. Huh, we got two of those. Imagine that. And here we go. And this big pot, this will boil down to less than half the size. So we'll kickstart it. Right there. Throw all this in here. Yeah, you gotta get one of these, girls. Those things work good. And I'm looking forward to getting my wife's kitchen upgraded here. Because this is the main part of the house we never got finished. Kind of ran out of money. There we go. So that can sit in there and dry. And after you cut meat up, does it ever feel good on the hands? I think it's what's called as lanolin. And here's the view outside the kitchen window. And this little tripod I got you on won't reach that high. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go. I'll be right back. I just got to dump this crap off. The compost. I'll be right back. So I got a couple more duties to do. I'll wash this first. Oh. this up next. Like to keep our dogs nice and happy. They can't complain if they got full bellies. That goes for wives as well. Another scoop in here. The rest of that in here. So that takes about an hour. Then we'll go and we'll freeze this. Be right back. That. Escape wash this. And once these vegetables are boiled, I mash them up, and I'll put that in, some in here, mix it in with some of that meat, and baggie up the rest of it, and freeze it too. Freeze it flat, no air in it, so that we can stack it and pile it into the freezer better. And I'll see if I can get up to dig up some potatoes. So other than that, thanks very much for coming along. There. And you all have a great day. Look at that, isn't that pretty? All that, look at all those gold colors, the pinks, the red, mixed in with the green. Beautiful. Okay, bye-bye.
That's all, folks.
I'll be back.